Good, good afternoon.
You're welcome to our seminar for the month of March. This is Professor Cosmos Daughters Forum, and here what we promote is women actually coming together to achieve their goals. We try to help women in all areas, in career, in their businesses, whatever it is that you want to achieve, or any goal that you set for yourself. We try to help you to keep pushing, that you can make it and you can achieve your goals. So I want to welcome each and every one of us here today. And our speaker, I can see that our speaker is already here. So in some minutes, we'll be starting. What I want us to do is just to listen. And when it's time for questions, we can ask our questions, and she will give us answers. Let's just try as much as possible to jot down things, learn when she's speaking. Thank you very much. I'll call on my vice president to give us a brief introduction about our speaker before we now start. Grace?
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. And thank you all for joining. And we are expecting more persons. So our speaker today is, hope we can all hear me.
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can.
Our speaker today is Engineer Dr. Aderunke Lawal. She is a Nigerian lecturer and researcher with over 8 years of experience in higher education. She is passionate about teaching and adept at demystifying complex concepts by deconstructing knowledge into easily digestible pieces. Lawal is interested in ICT and engineering, data science and machine learning, education, human capacity development, and social entrepreneurship. Lawal is a teacher of life who is fascinated with how the human mind works. She believes that all women can thrive easily, regardless of their undesirable past trauma and present situations. She coaches women and helps them to shift from victimhood, a negative and scarcity mindset, into abundance. She founded the Square Peg Wonder, a platform that serves as a safe space for about 50 young single mothers in Nigeria. She is the lead coach at Thrive Easy Club, where she helps high-achieving women create the life they love. Above everything, Lawal is most passionate about God and being a mother to her amazing family of 3 lovely boys. This amazing woman will be speaking to us today on how to balance our mental health and wellness in difficult times. Please, everyone present, let's welcome Engineer Dr. Roke Lawal.
Thank you so much, Ms. Grace, for that wonderful introduction. Hello, everyone. I want to be sure that you can hear me very well before I continue. So if somebody can please let me know if you can hear me.
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can hear you.
All right, thank you so much. It is such a pleasure to be here today, to be in your midst. I'm very humbled and grateful that you allow me to come here and share with you today. So my name is Aderunke Lawal. I am a teacher. I teach at the university level in Nigeria. I'm also a life coach to women. I am also a mom. I have three boys. I'm a mom of 3 boys. So today I want to just have an interaction with everyone here about how we can take a look at our mental health and look at our wellness, especially when things are tough, that is during difficult times. And I'm going to start by going through the meanings of these things, because I believe that it is really difficult for you to conquer anything unless you actually know what it means. So there are a lot of times that we go through things, but we don't really understand the things that we are going through. And this just multiplies the difficulty level. You know how some people say life is not hard, life is not that hard. And then you just wonder when things are tough, like, so how come this is so hard? And it is so hard because we've not been taught. Nobody has really shown us, okay, these are the things that you should do when things get tough. And, that is the purpose of having this kind of interaction, so that we can, get to know better. And because life will not always be smooth. So the next time you run into a little difficulty, you are able to take a moment, examine the situation a little differently. And when you are able to do that, you also you experience it a little differently too. So I'm going to give a very short definition to wellness, because at the end of the day, that is the goal. That is what we are all trying to pursue. We want to be well, and wellness is not just physical, right? It is mental, it is emotional, it is financial, it is psychological. So we want to look at how can we be well. That is the goal. And when you are unwell, that is when you can start to say, okay, things are difficult right now. Maybe in whatever, in all of those ways that I've already listed. So you start to look at it that, okay, if I'm not well, a way to define that would be that, okay, things are not in alignment for me. When you are aligned physically, you wake up, all your body parts, everything works, you are well. So alignment and wellness, it kind of goes hand in hand. So mental health now, it is usually an indicator of what is going on within you, inside you, and then even externally. So to me, that's how I would personally, define it. Mental health is just your level of the rate at which you are able to cope with the things in your life, whether they are aligned, whether they are not aligned. So how are you coping with that? So when you think about it now, look at yourself personally and think to yourself, so based on what is going on in my life, like, this is where I want to be, this is where I am, and this is how I am reacting to that reality, because you don't always be where you are, but how are you taking all of that? How are you reacting to it? So I can say, okay, that is like my mental health level. So if you look at yourself now, what would you rate yourself? Think about it. What is your current wellness level? From 0 to 10, what would you say it is? If you don't mind, if you come up with a number, I would like for you to put it in the chat so that we can make this a little more interactive. So I'm going to check. So please put it in the chat if you think about it. How would you rate yourself? I'm trying to check the chat. So please take a minute to do that, because you would agree with me that we are in this age where there's information everywhere, there's knowledge everywhere. I'm not coming here to tell you something that is new, something that you don't already know. But what I'm here to do today is to remind you of some things that you already know, and hopefully to challenge you to start to practice the things that you need to practice so that your wellness can be balanced. So think about it. I want you to really think about it. Like, right now, my current wellness, how would I rate it? So while you are doing that, I'm going to just talk about understanding difficult times. I said earlier that when you do not really understand what is going on, it's hard for you to tackle it. So I'm going to just make everything very simple. when it comes to difficult times, I always say two things. Number one, know yourself. Number two, know your enemy. Enemy in quotes. Because I don't believe that difficult times are your enemy. I have a different mindset towards it. I believe that any uncomfortable emotions or feelings that come up for me, or any difficult time that come up for me, it is an indicator. It is a sign of the things that I need to be looking at in my life at that point in time, so that I can get to the next level. So before, I don't want to, go too far from the point. My point is two things: know yourself and know your enemy. So if you take that time to understand that situation very well, if you take that time to understand you yourself very well, because you already know this, but you are very unique. The world doesn't get to have another version of you. You are just what we have right now. So if anything happens, but nothing, you cannot be replaced. So you cannot compare yourself to another person when it comes to maybe difficult times or any other thing, whether good or bad. You cannot compare yourself to, because you're just uniquely made. And that is why you have to do the work of knowing who you are, what do you like, what have you been through, those things that you've been through, how have they impacted you? If you're acting this way, why are you acting that way? So you have to do those two things. So like I said, I'm not coming here to tell you anything new, but I'm just hoping that when I'm talking, you'll be able to relate and you'll be reminded to start to do some things on a daily basis. So on that note, I'm going to also give another exercise. I want you to close your eyes, if you will, and try to do a short visualization exercise with me. I want you to think about the most difficult, the most challenging thing that you've been through in your life, your life. What is that thing that is, the hardest thing that you've ever had to do? I want you to picture it, the pain, the suffering, the fact that it was so misaligned, like it wasn't where you wanted to be at all. Think about all those things in your mind. I want you to feel the feelings in your mind. And I want you to, as you do that, I want you to observe your body, your physical body. So because one of the key things I'm going to keep mentioning over and over again is how important our bodies are to our mental health. So when things happen, your body is always involved. So one of the work that you should also note down to do is to observe your body. When you wake up, how does your body feel? When you're happy, how does it feel inside your body? When you're sad, when you're angry, how does your body feel? When you're anxious, where do you feel it? What part of your body do you feel it? Because the body is very, very, very key. There's a saying, the body knows. If you are Yoruba, there's a saying, around Fumi in Yoruba, meaning that when something happens, something has happened, but you didn't witness it, you're not aware of it, but somehow you kind of just feel it in your body, because the body always knows whether you are there. If it concerns you, your body would know. So now you have to have a very, very strong relationship with your body in order for you to basically thrive in this life. Okay, so like I said, I'm just here to remind you of some things. As I'm talking, you would be able to throw back to something that happened to you, and some of the things I'm saying, and that's the whole point of this interaction. So as I'm from here now, anything I say, I want you to relate it to that visualization exercise that we just did, that very difficult, challenging moment in your life that was top on that list, that was really, really hard for you to. Probably you are still going through it. Probably you've already overcome it. Probably you're just ignoring it, hoping it to just go away. Maybe you've dealt with it and you're actually at peace with it. Whatever the case is, I want you to keep it in mind. as I begin to define the next things that I'll be talking about. So basically, anything difficult, of course, it means that it is not easy. And if something is not easy, it means that it's just not flowing naturally. For instance, maybe there are stages in life, you do this one and then this follows, and then something happens and, something happens and that flow is not happening. So that means there's a disruption. That is what difficult moments, that is what it means. And I want all of us here, to start thinking about this in a different way. Usually when that happens, one of the first things that comes to our mind is, okay, why me? Why is this happening? What have I done wrong? Oh, and then, our minds are always very active. We want to think, oh, is it because I didn't do that? Or is it because I said this to somebody? Or is it because my parents did something? Is that why all this is happening to me? I want you to remind yourself now that that is like your mind doing all those jumping around. It doesn't help. The one important question you should ask when things are not aligning, the one question you should ask yourself is, what is this event trying to call my attention to? Because at the end of the day, that is all there is. If you are religious, whatever religion you have, we all know that God has called us his children, his beloved, and God wants the best for us. I think it is a statement of fact across all religion. So it makes you wonder that, okay, so if that is the truth, especially if you are a believer, you believe this, that, okay, God loves me, God wants abundance for me, God has put me here to prosper, so many instances across all religions. So you wonder, so why, all these difficulties? So that just tells you that, okay, they just look difficult and they look like they're not part of the plan, but truly there has to be even if you don't, I wanted to say there has to be a reason, but sometimes life is interesting in a way that you cannot always find reasons. But one thing you should know is that this is an indication, whatever happens, an indication of something that needed your attention at that point. For instance, if you take an exam and you did not pass, that is a difficult moment for a lot of us. And he just helps you to wonder, so why did this happen? So how you should be looking at it is that, okay, what is this trying to call my attention to? And nobody can answer this question for you. That is where it gets interesting. That is where everybody has to sit down and do this work. I call it inner work. Nobody can do it for you. The reason why I failed at something might not be the reason why you failed at something. So at the end of the day, it's about asking the right questions, and the answer for you would be for you. It might not really apply to somebody else. I could have just come here today and start telling you about my difficult moments in life. So I had sickle cell. Okay, I say I had because I feel like I basically have healed myself. So I had sickle cell. I had a child out of wedlock. That was really challenging. And then when I got married, it was, crazy. It didn't work out at the end of the day. So I got divorced. So I could come here today and start telling you about all those difficult times and, this is what I learned, but it will not apply to you because you are not me. Your journey and my journey is not the same. But what we can all do is we can all ask ourselves the right questions, and then we'll get our answers, and then we'll use our answers on our journey as we move further to help ourselves. So I hope you understand that you can't just maybe, even when you read a book about something, everybody has to sit down. And I like to encourage people to journal and carry your pen and paper and start to ask yourself some questions. There's some questions you will ask yourself for years, the answer will not come. But you have to keep going, and you have to keep asking yourself that question over and over and over again. And over time, the subconscious, the mind is very powerful. If you ask questions, even when you are sleeping, the subconscious is trying hard. It doesn't like unfinished business. So if there's a question you've been asking in your head all the while, it's just like when you see somebody that looks familiar on the road, and your brain is trying to understand, where do I know this person from? You realize that you won't be able to get that feeling out of your mind until you, maybe it's later at night or even the next day, and you're like, oh yes, I remember where I know that person from. So that's the way. So it just helps you now to use your mind and your subconscious to ask the right questions that will benefit you. Some people actually use this questioning method to manifest things. If there's something you want, you put it to your mind as a question. And trust me, your brain, your mind, your body, it will not rest until it gets you the answer. So that being said, I just was trying to tell you that difficulty is just a misalignment, a misdirection that is trying to call your attention to something. So when that happens, one thing we always do, one thing most of us do, is that we carry that event on our head, as if that is that. And when we hold that thing, oh, I failed this, oh, this didn't work out for me, oh, I didn't get this. And then we hold on to that too much. But the problem, it is how you are reacting to that event, which is why let me take Nigeria as an example. Nigeria is in crisis, at least this year. It's been really difficult, but not everybody is being affected the same way. And that tells you something, that it is not really about that event. It is the story that you are taking away from that event. So if the same, you and somebody can be standing and somebody comes and that person maybe insults the two of you, it's possible that somebody will take it more personally than the other person. And the reason why is because that the first person has coined a story from that experience, and they are going with that story that, this person doesn't respect me, this person is this person, and the other person is going with another story that maybe this person is just having a rough day, or maybe this person is actually sick in the head. So you can see how, two different perspectives. And that is the key, really. No matter what happens that it is undesirable, no matter what happens, what the way forward, how you proceed and how it affects your life depends on the story you are taking away from it. Okay, so I want to give an example. For instance, if you have health issues, like sickle cell. So I have sickle cell, I'm HBSC, and growing up, I would have constant crisis. And my story, I just built a story around that I'm weak, there's a limit to the things that I could do. I can't just behave like other people. I'm not as strong as other people, And that story is in my head. And that is why it helps to have interactions, because sometimes you see somebody going through the same thing as you, and then you're seeing them act differently. Like, why are they acting differently? It's because they've swapped that story around in their head. And you start to learn that. You start to tell yourself, you start to turn your own story around slowly, day by day by day. And one day you just wake up and you don't really identify with that challenge anymore. So, for instance, now, okay, so I was using health as an example. Sometimes is the fact that you don't have money, you can't afford some things, and your story from that experience it can be different things. Like I said, we are all unique, so we all have, depending on our backgrounds, our upbringing, and our DNA generally, we are going to experience the same things, and we are going to take different stories away from that. So the key now is to find what's your own story. That is it. you personally now, as you listen to me, based on all the challenges you currently have, what is the story you're telling yourself? If you are, struggling with money, what is your story about money? So that is a way. If you want to conquer that, this is a way to start to look at it. My own money story is interesting. I'll just quickly chip it in. I've always worked hard. I've always been smart and brilliant. Usually top in my class, do the right thing. So why was I broke? And I realized that my story was that it is that you have to have a job and earn a salary. My story did not recognize the fact that you could make money outside of your job for the longest time. My story was that it is not good to have too much money because more money causes more problems. My story, it was plenty. If you take time to do the work, you can go online and you can search for some things, and then you can start to see which one you've actually thought in your head. Some people think money doesn't grow on trees. Some people think they have to be awake 24 hours, they sleep only 1 hour every day for them to get ahead in life. And trust me, you know how there's a quote, whatever you think, as you think, you are, basically. So if that's what you believe, nothing else will work for you except that thing that you think in your head. So don't let me get too distracted from what we're talking about. So we're talking about how at the end of the day, the difficult time is like a compass. It's trying to call your attention to something. And the emotions that come up when you encounter this difficult time, they are the things that you should be paying attention to and you should be looking at. That, okay, so why is this feeling coming up for me? And what is this trying to tell me? So usually when those emotions, when they come up, is always very painful. And what many of us do is we try to do anything we can to stop that terrible feeling. Nobody likes to feel terrible, understood. So what most of us do is we get in the way. We don't allow nature to happen naturally. I'm going to use an example of children. When children will have their own difficult moments, when things are not happening the way they want it to happen. Let's say they want to watch TV and you say no. So meaning that there's a disruption for them and some feelings come up for them. So you see them, they start to cry, they start to yell, they start to do all those things. And if you come back like 30 minutes later, that kid is already fine, going about their life normally, as if nothing happened. But we, as adults, we don't behave the same way. If you want to get something and somebody says no, and it's so painful to you, you don't cry. You don't, you hold yourself back and then just hold on to that pain. What that child has done is the child has gone through all the emotions and then passed through it. So, and that emotion has, left the child's body because he or she did not allow it to remain stuck inside them. And this is what we have to start to learn to do. It is really difficult. I would not lie to you. For maybe somebody to disappoint you and then for you to really sit down in that disappointment and feel everything, no matter how long it takes. And if you want to scream, if you want to cry, if you want to yell, most of us do not do this when things happen. And that is why our pain is prolonged. And any pain that is prolonged is called suffering. That is why we suffer. That child was in pain, but the pain was for that period and it passed. But as adults, our pain, we don't allow it to pass. And then something else will happen. We are still, we're still stuck. We are still not allowing it to pass. So everything starts to pile up. Small things, big things, everything starts to pile up inside you. And one day you don't even want to get out of bed. And then you start, okay, now you're depressed. oh, now you are, having suicidal thoughts, because so many things has been, compounding inside you, and you did not even know that, okay, that is not the way to go about it. So I want you to just know now that pain is part of life. When you think about most things growing, plants growing, babies growing, animals growing, it comes with pain. There's something called growing pains. So pain is going to come. After this our interaction, during the course of the week, something painful would happen. But how are you going to deal with it? Are you going to hold it in and get it really stuck inside you? Or are you going to be brave and say, okay, you know what? I'm going to sit with this pain because I know pain doesn't last forever. And I'll just allow this one to go. And if you're also brave enough, you can actually start to go back to all those other pain that you've kept inside you and start to allow them to pass through one after the other. And then you feel really lighter, and then you'll be able to balance your mental health. So examples of growing pain, apart from growing, that comes with pain. Pain also can, come when you want to maintain something, you want something to be better. For instance, you want to maintain your health, so you want to exercise. Exercises can be a little bit painful, but it's for a good cause. So pain is not a bad thing. It is not a bad, it's just part of life. It is what it is. So another thing we have to do is we have to just change our attitude to pain. It is suffering. It is when we no pain, no pain, no pain. We unintentionally, we transform that pain into suffering, and suffering is worse because it is extended. Even when you find small joy, suffering will kill it. It will not last. So when a baby is, us as babies, when we're trying to grow, as we start to walk, we fall down, get back up again. As we start to eat, we start to have more teeth. It's very painful. If you've seen a baby teething, it's very, very painful for that baby. So are you going to say the baby should not have teeth and not grow? So start to look at pain a little differently. For instance, if you are in a relationship and then you get disappointed, or the relationship is toxic and you have to walk away. Walking away is also as painful as being disappointed and somebody walking away from you. So those are pain. And pain, like I said, pain, difficult times, they are trying to call your attention to something. If you were in a toxic relationship and and it's painful, toxic relationship is not nice, it's painful. That pain is trying to tell you that you're not where you should be and you should move. If somebody is disappointing you, there's a lesson, there's something that's your whole system. It's not just our body, mind, and soul. Your soul is wise, is way ahead, and it's just trying to call your attention, trying to get your attention. And actually, I've noticed, I don't have proof, but the more stubborn you are, the more pain you would encounter in life. Because you will not hear word, like your intuition is trying to tell you something, you are stubborn, you say, no, I want to do it this way. You would go and come back and, you shed hot tears. So the more stubborn you are, naturally, the more you have to just watch yourself and be very careful and make sure that you are listening to your intuition. Nobody can guide you. There's no coach, there's no teacher that can, teach you better about your body, about your life than you. They can guide you, they can help you, they can open your eyes to things that you didn't know before. But ultimately, you are your own coach, you are your own teacher. And you have to do that work to learn your body, to learn your emotions, to look at your pain and find the reasons behind them. So I'm going to move on to solutions now. I've said so many things about how we can understand pain on a deeper level. So how do we, so now there's difficult times, we know there's pain, we know maybe your pain has turned to suffering and it's just, extended. So what's the way forward? And I'm going to just repeat one thing I said earlier. Know your enemy, know yourself. Those two things. So every other thing that you see happening in the mental in the mental wellness space, therapy, coaching, maybe medication, is just centering around you being aware. Nothing to harm you. It can still harm you, but awareness is really, really important. So you need to understand your pain. If something happens to you and you can't really make sense of it, it is very wise that you reach out to maybe a friend, maybe somebody that you can trust, maybe somebody that is ahead of you. Nowadays, so many people, the internet is a good place. A lot of people, share their stories, so you can read more about people who have passed through things. Usually when people pass through things, a couple of years down the line, they can see some reasons behind their pain. And when they share that reasons, maybe you can relate. And maybe while you are going through yours, you can use those insights. When you understand it better, there's a relief that comes. Even when you can't even solve that problem 100%, there's a relief. You just, like, oh, okay, I get this. So understanding your pain. So if you need somebody to help you see the big picture, always reach out. So there's nothing that you are going through or that you have gone through that nobody else has gone through. So, and if a lot of people that have gone through those things, they kind of survived. So it is wise that you look at them, and maybe most of them would have written books. They have resources out there. Find it. What are the key things that you can use to improve yourself? So these are the ways that we can make sure that we balance our mental health, that regardless of what's happening, we are able to stay grounded and stay focused and continue the journey, because life is a journey and pain is part of it, because that is so that I can elevate to the next level. And when you get to that next level, you can always look back and say, oh, that wasn't fun, but I like where I am right now. But if that didn't happen, you won't get here. So understanding your pain, that's the first part. The other part is understanding yourself. I said it earlier that your body is integral to all these things. It is in your body that thoughts pop up. All the feelings, it is in your body. Your emotions, you feel it in your body. So if you want to deal with all of that, if you want to know how to deal with it, you need to know yourself very well. And it's a journey. So self-awareness is something you should prioritize in your life. And I also mentioned something about, when an event happens, it is your story that determines how you are feeling about it. So anytime you see yourself feeling very bad and very down about something, ask yourself, so what story about this event, what story am I telling myself about that thing that is making me feel this way? And when you recognize, it might take you a while, but eventually you recognize that story. When you recognize that story, you need to ask yourself, is this story, is it true? Is it true? Some people, they feel like, actually, depending on your background, if you have some issues with parenting, with your parents, you might grow up and feel like nobody really cares about you. So, and then when you start to have friends, when you start to, have relationships, you start to realize that true, nobody cares about you. But it's not that you are right. It's the fact that your story will do anything for it to be right. Meaning that in your relationship, you would not trust, you would not believe, you always look at the negative more than the positive. Also that you can come out at the end of the day and say, Shebi, I told you, Shebi, I've been saying it. Nobody really cares about me. So you now need to look at that story now and start to change it. Especially if you actually want people to care about you, you need to change that story. That is actually a lie. You have to stand and tell myself that it is a lie that nobody cares about me. It is a lie I've been telling myself all these years, and I've seen it that is a lie. And then you rephrase it, that people care about me. It will not, of course, it will not happen in just one day. You start to tell yourself, over and over and over and over again. I'm sure you've heard of affirmations. That's the concept. So when you say today, you say people care about me. As you go about your day, somebody just does something nice to you. And you're like, oh my God, people care about me. Tomorrow, two people, they might even be strangers. I'm like, people care about me. From there, your relationships, that is what you are saying. Even when people do nasty things, your brain starts to ignore because your brain is like, you care about me, you care about me, you care about me. So when people don't care, you don't even notice. This is whatever you focus on that you see more in your life. It's like whatever room you are in right now, if you say, okay, I want to look for color red, you start to say red. In fact, anything that is, I want you to do that exercise now. Look around you, look for color red. As your eyes are going around, even things that are not color red, that is pink, that is orange, your eyes will start to see it because it looks like what you're looking for. So, and that is how you should condition your mind. If love, if it's wealth, if it's success that you're looking for, that should be what is in your head. So as you look around your community, as you go out, even if it doesn't look like success, you're thinking, okay, this is like success. If it doesn't look like it, because that is what you have programmed your mind to look out for. So basically, these are the ways that we can just change our perspective to things, because life is life. Life is neither good nor bad. It is you that you give it the meaning. So if you look at something and you think this is bad, it will be bad. If you look at something and think this is really good and you're excited, it will be good for you and you will see more good, because that's just your disposition. And people will look at you and wonder, like, are we not saying the same things? But they can't really understand unless you try it. Okay, so like I said, you rephrase, number one, any difficult time, look at it and find out your story. It's not the event that is the issue. Don't say, oh, because this happened to me. No, it happened, yes, and I'm sorry that that difficult thing happened. But you look at that thing and like, okay, so what story am I taking away from this? And look at it. If it's a good story, continue. But if it's a story that is not serving you, it's not helping you in any way, then you need to call it a lie. It is usually a lie. Call that lie out. Like say, okay, yeah, I'm looking at you and this is not true. And then replace it and affirm it over and over and over again. So one thing you can do that helps is that as you are doing your affirmation, you are doing it with motion. I was emphasizing on body, how the body is a part of all of these things. When you are trying to get over something, you're trying to rephrase something in your head, always make sure you do it with motion. Get your body involved. So this would allow pain to easily pass through you, because if you have noticed, I'm going to bring that. They're not really okay. You see them screaming. You see them. Some people would maybe be throwing their arms. They are usually moving, and I think that helps. There's been some scientific research. You can always go and check that. Supports the fact that when you want to rewire your mind, or you want to change some things in your body, it helps when you do it with motion. When you move, things happen in your body. When you're saying your affirmations and you move and you jump and it happens, it is more powerful, which explains why some people, when they are maybe praying in church, they jump. When praise and worship, a lot of people they're always moving around, because your body is very, very integral to your state of mind, your wellness. So at the end of the day, the goal is that whatever events you have gone through, whatever emotions, whatever feelings that have come up for you, usually they've been stored in your body. And what you want to do is, number one, you want to make sure that whatever new thing is coming, you want to allow it to pass. You don't want to hold on to any extra baggage. And then when you have learned how to do that, you want to now start to go back over the years. what are the things that has remained stuck in your body. You want to start to cleanse and release all those things so that you can be free, so that there can be space for more wellness for you. Because everything in the world is matter, right? Matter can, energy and matter can be created or destroyed, meaning that if you are full of negative things, there is no space for positive things. So, well, if you have small space like this for positive things, yes, they'll be coming, but when it fills up, there's no more space. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that there's in all the parts of your body, whatever space, whatever container that you have energetically, you want to make sure that nothing negative, whatever negative that energy that's been stored there, you want to clear it out so that more wellness, more positivity can flow through your body. And when that happens, it's magic. Nobody would have to even tell you that you're okay. You would know you're okay. So I'm going to just round up here. I think I've been speaking for how long? How long have I been speaking for? And I'm going to just suggest some quick exercises that you can do right now, maybe or after this interaction to get going. So the first one is, I think the easiest you can do is to do some breathing exercises where you make sure you take a lot of oxygen in through your nose and fill out your lungs, make sure your belly is swollen from the oxygen, and then you release it. As simple as that. You know when something is happening, people are saying, no, calm down, breathe, 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 is because it works. As simple as that is. If you take and sit down in one corner and you just breathe in and breathe out, and you're going to see some major differences in your life. So deep breathing exercises, that's number one. Number two, there's something called the vagus nerve stimulation. There's something called the vagus nerve. You can Google it. It is related to a lot of emotions and a lot of feelings that we feel and hold inside of us. So anytime your body, you feel like you are in distress, your body is in distress and you need to calm down, maybe there's anxiety, maybe it's sadness, maybe whatever it is, and you want to calm down, there are some parts of your body, your ear here, back of your neck here, you can just rub them. You can check online, you'll see a lot of examples. Just maybe rub them for like 5 minutes, find some quiet place, and your body would immediately calm down and start to do whatever it is that you want your body to do. The truth is, your body works automatically. You wake up, you run, it works automatically. Meaning that you need to be intentional if you wanted to do some specific things. Especially if you feel like, okay, where I am right now, with my body, my soul, my spirit, I want it to be better. Just like if you want to grow spiritually, you have to like take some steps. The same way, if you want to have a better connection with your body, you need to sit down and like, I'm not going to allow this thing to run on autopilot. I'm going to be intentional. I'm going to take charge. When it's time for this, I'll do this. When it's time for this other thing, I'm going to do that. So another thing you can do is move, run or dance, especially maybe when you want to say your affirmations. Make sure that, as you're saying, I'm wealthy, I'm healthy, I'm happy, I'm joyful. Or if it is that example I told you, a lie that you've seen in one of your stories and you want to change it, as you're saying is, you can dance. Especially us women, it is really good. If you want to be feminine, you want to tune more into your intuition as a woman, it is highly recommended that you move a lot. So, you can do some dancing. If you like running, if you like exercising, as you're doing your exercise, as your body is moving, you make sure that you are saying words. You know how our words are so powerful. I don't have to, start to say all of that. You know that whatever word you come out of your mouth is like a prayer, is like a spell. So move your body and pray and say those positive things and rewire your brain and rewire your body and just tell your body what you want it to do, and it's magical. So I'm going to just do a quick recap and remind you that not allowing pain, that is the problem. So you have to find a way to allow it to pass through you, like a child that is encountering something undesirable. Let it pass through so that you can move on. And that is why children don't hold grudges, because there's nothing. They've dealt with it in that moment and they can move forward. Even when if they had a horrible day with you and you really dealt with them, the next day they can still see you and be happy. Oh, still love you and be happy. So really, and that is why I think the Bible says something about how you need to act like children to get into the kingdom of God. I'm not a Christian, so I'm not really familiar, but I'm sure you understand what I'm trying to say. So basically, when you see children, try and act and behave like them, because they're like the model. The world has not happened to them. They've not started holding pain inside their bodies. So meaning that no grudges, everything is peaceful with them, and that is the ideal. That is what we want. That is the kind of wellness and alignment we want in our lives as we grow. So from everything I've said, you will realize that being aware is key. Like, I said, know yourself, know the problem. So awareness is the key thing. Every single day, you can go online to find some exercises that help you develop your awareness. Awareness is key. The more you are very, very sharp at noticing things, especially in your own body, the better you can navigate difficult situations, difficult emotions. And while everybody is still like taking a week to get over something, you have gone through all the steps because you are deeply present within your body. You are aware. You can quickly process and get to the other end and move on. And then like I said, pain will come. Another pain will come. So, but whenever it comes, you are ready because you know what to do. So if I'm going to leave you with anything, the first is awareness, and then the second will be that you need to start looking at your body different. Your body is the tool. It's basically that tool. So if you have mental health and you go for therapy and they can't really, maybe they think it's really, really a serious case and they can't help you, they're going to give you medication to alter some things in your body. Because it will be a case of, okay, so you can't self-regulate, you can't do it yourself. So they'll give you medication to calm if your brain is, your brain activity is really high and, you're saying things or you are paranoid, they'll give you medication to process it in your body and calm you down. So, but why do we have to go for that when we can learn small to rewire ourselves and to, be aware and start to change things in our body and start to use our body for wellness, for whatever it is that our purpose, whatever you want to do with your body in life, you can make sure that you are using it appropriately. Make sure your body is not on autopilot at any point in time. So I'm going to end it here. Thank you so much for your audience. Thank you for the attention. It is such a privilege to share, with you here, and I'm open to any questions that you might have. So thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you so much. We appreciate. It's such a wonderful word that we've received from you this afternoon, and also I'm really thrilled by your story, and it's so encouraging to find that you are standing your ground despite all you've been through or going through, and may the Lord keep strengthening you. So I learned a couple of things, and thank you so much once again, that we should know ourselves, we should know our enemy and how to overcome all these difficult times and balance our mental health. So I'll leave the floor open for those who have questions. If you can speak, please raise your hand. If you can't speak, you can send your question to the comment section so that we can attend to it. So if you raise your hands, I will call you up to ask your questions while our speaker answers your question. Okay, Papa is raising up his hands. Papa, please, you can take the floor.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Ronke, Owoyama Ronke. It's a pleasure having you in our midst, and I'm so happy because I took my time, not just to listen, but I took my time to write over 2 pages of papers on the field of that. So, but there's a curiosity I have. My curiosity is this: if I am to tell myself that the story confronting me is a lie, that presumes that I know what is the truth. So what if my situation is so bad that I don't even know what is truth and lie? So how do I now say that this one is a lie, this one is truth? Because I am so damaged that I can't differentiate truth and lie anymore. I need help. So what will such person in such a situation do? That's my question.
Thank you so much for that very, very deep question. Okay, so when it comes to mental health and wellness, truth really and lie, I don't think it holds the regular definition. When it comes to mental health, your truth, the truth should be something that is what's the word? That is beneficial to you, something that serves you. That is the truth. And I understand that confusion happens, and that is why I recommend speaking to friends, because sometimes, like you said, like you can get to a point where you can't really see things straight. Talk to friends, talk to mentors, talk to people who have been through it. Because if that thing is a lie, if it's a lie that you're thinking is a truth, or if it's a truth that you're thinking is a lie, people who have gone through it, they can help you set the record straight. And then you can begin to start to say, okay, this is what it is. Okay, actually, this is actually bad, and we need to find a way to manage it. But actually, this is not as bad. It's just that I think that it is. So that would help you to start to put it in categories. But at the end of the day, there are only two things in this life. Is what serves you, what serves your purpose. Is it beneficial to you to keep this thought in your head? Is it serving you, or is it damaging you? Is it causing you to be afraid? Is it causing you to self-sabotage? Is it causing you to hide yourself away? Is it causing you to shy back from facing life? Or is it something that when you think it energizes you? When you think it helps you want to try, even though you feel really tired, but when you think about it, it helps you want to try harder. For instance, look at that financial true and false story that I mentioned. That lie that I personally discovered that you cannot make money outside maybe your job. It is actually theoretically, like if you want to look at it factually, it looks like a fact. And that is why your brain believes it. But then, because it looks like a fact, it will box you into a corner. It will not allow you to think outside the box. So you need to tell yourself that it is a lie. And then as you are doing your job, you start to get ideas that would make you progress outside, because outside that salary that you're thinking that I'm stuck, this is the bar, I can't make more than 50,000 naira a month. If you start to tell yourself that is a lie, that will push your brain to start to see. You don't even have to leave the job. You don't even have to even go anywhere. But you yourself telling yourself in your head that this story is not true. It starts to just open the world of possibilities. And us human beings, our limitations is just our story. If you move that story a little further, more things are possible. So that's just how we look at it. So when we say truth or lie, we don't really mean it as like something that is written in stone. It's just it's dynamic, meaning that we just want to shift something from what works for you to what doesn't work for you. So if something doesn't work for you, you have to call it a lie. So that if you can't see that it's a lie, find people who can help you see, get counseling, get therapy, get coaching, talk to your friends that can help you see that, no, think about it this way. And when you speak to those people, they can help you see, and then you can throw away that old story. I hope that helps. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. That was beautiful. So daughters, the president have told us to ask questions. I was expecting to see many hands, because these are not things you see every day. I have so many questions, but I don't want to be the only talkative here. So let's have questions from others I can always come in from time to time to throw in my questions.
Okay, so I'll be asking this question while we wait on others. Ma'am, please, what will you recommend for someone, let's say, that finds it challenging, even after consulting people, talking to people about difficult situations that she's going through, how she's not able to come out from it, and she keeps dwelling on that particular area and finds it difficult to navigate, and even after going through all the emotions. But sometimes you'll see the person coming back or swinging back to her feet, and in the next minute, you see the person going back to that same square roots of thinking all over again. So what do you think is the issue there, and how can this person deal with it?
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much for that, that question.
Sorry, Dr. Romke. I think the question is also similar so that we don't waste your time. If you look at somebody just dropped a question now. The person says, how do you deal with thought of depression leading to suicide, even after talking to people, yet dwelling on that particular area? So I think these two questions are similar. So just answer them.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, so I think that, you know, human beings, us human beings, we are full of patterns and habits, meaning that if you've done things in a certain way over and over and over again, it is hard for you to change. If you've held on to a story for so long, people would, no matter what people say, you might hear them right at that moment, but you can go back and easily forget it, and then that your story, especially if it's very, very strong. If it comes from a very, very strong place, it will override whatever it is that anybody is telling you. So what I personally, you know, would recommend is that just have empathy with that person. I said it earlier that we are all unique, and when same thing can happen to me and you, and we would both take it differently, meaning that we are on different journeys. Some people get there faster. It's just like when you look at school, maybe primary school. Some people will get double promotion. They will just go ahead and leave everybody behind. And some people will just go one step at a time, one step at a time. What you can do if you have that kind of person, especially if that person is still, you know, is close to you, is you can just hold, there's something they call holding the space. You just hold that space for that person. And it's not as if that person did not hear you. And it's not as if they did not also know the other option, but it's just hard to unshed some patterns sometimes. So if you've thought about something for 30 years, and let's say now you are 31 years old, and then on your 31st birthday, you enter some place and then they say something that is totally different. Even though you agree with them, it's not overnight that thing would, that you just say, okay, I'm changing. Actually, some people do. Some people will hear something once and they will shift, but it's not, we are all built differently. So you just need to allow people to, you know, go through their journey, just hold that space for them, and be if they want to cry, make sure that you are a safe space for them. Let them be able to come to you. If they want a shoulder, if they want to rant, even if they want to rant about that same thing for years, is it that complain about that same thing, even when, you know, maybe you've told them that, okay, try this another way, or this is an alternative solution. Just trust that they've heard you, and that in their own time, that change that you are hoping would happen for them. Honestly, you can't really, like I said, this work is a deeply personal work. This is an inner work. You can't do it for other people. And it's sad, but that is the reality. You have to just be at peace with the fact that sometimes you can't help other people to see what you already see. What you can do is You can share your story, which is why, sometimes people share some very personal things on social media and you're wondering like, no, why are you sharing this? It should be private. But you don't even know what sharing will do. That person that knows that, okay, I just need to stop I just need to change my story. I just need to change my story. But the person has not been able to change that story. It could be that the person will just go online one day, read about somebody that went through like worse, and read about how that person was able to just go, and that could be just that one thing that will just shift that person just that one day. So if you have been through a difficult time, you can maybe share. If you know somebody that is depressed and suicidal, and you can just recommend that the person look out for people who have been there and who survived it. Because honestly, you can't really relate to people that are suicidal if you have not been there. You cannot. You can't. It will not. You will be looking at it on a logical level. There's nothing logical about it. It's a deeply psychological something. So you have to find a way to match somebody who is going through a challenge in one area to somebody who has survived in that area. That helps. Even at that, it's not automatic. Even at that, it takes a lot of time. I have a lot of people who, I have a platform for single mothers in Nigeria. I have almost 50 moms there. And I try to share my story about how, when things like this happen, you want to blame your partner because of course nobody is perfect, but you want to blame. And I try to teach that look inwards. There are some things that got you into that situation, and it's in you that you have to change yourself, not other people. Trust me, a lot of people for years have been preaching this. Some people for years, they don't get it, they don't agree, and they are just remaining stuck, struggling, and that's okay. I just have to be at peace and just, you just show up, say what you can say, enjoy your life, make sure that you're enjoying, because if you have done that work for your own self, maybe you were depressed and you found a way to overcome it, and now you're well. You can't hide wellness. Just show that. Let them see you over. When they see you, you might inspire them, you might trigger them, they might be angry at you that, why is this person just happy anyhow? Why is it? But you just show up and live your life. They would go on their own journey, and God willing, God leave everything to God. If God wants to, sort them sooner than expected, God will do it. So I hope that helps.
Oh, thank you, Doctor. I think another question.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
Somebody dropped a question on the chat, and somebody said that just like we just finished the issue of some people being suicidal, some people are also prone to killing. Until they kill somebody, their pain is not gone. Is it, can I say murderous? I don't know. I say English like that.
Yes, well,
like you can see in the United States, you see somebody who just go to a shopping mall, bring out his gun and begin to shoot people just to feel okay. So what can we, this person is saying, what can we tell someone who is bent on taking the life of other people whenever the person feels pain, emotionally pain or physical pain or whatever?
Well, obviously, those kind of people, they need specialist help. It's just like I said, there are sometimes that some situations have piled up. I was saying something about how when things happen and you don't deal with them when you should have dealt with them, it piles up, and sometimes it has reached the peak, and that person is already, the pain has taken over. That person is not there anymore. Technically, it's the pain that is doing all the decisions, all the thinking. So you can't even reach that person to have any logical conversation with them. And that is why, mental, so that becomes like a disease of some sort. And that is why, you find them being medicated, you find them being admitted into maybe a mental health institution, and, they will start to use both drugs and both, talking and therapy to see if they will use the medication to suppress that pain, that emotional pain in a way. And then they will try to use maybe therapy to see, okay, that now that the person's body is a little bit modified, can we reach that person mentally to see if we can help them maybe understand the pain, maybe rewire their thinking and see if we can help them. But the truth is, some people are gone beyond, they can't be saved. But usually, of course, it's not good to give up. So, you just have to just keep trying. And that's why, when they see that this person is like they can't be saved, they keep them behind bars so that they can't harm other people. So if you find somebody that, like that, you would need to report them to the appropriate authority, because it's not something that, somebody as a friend or a family can handle. It has gone way beyond that. So we need specialists and professionals to handle such a person.
I actually love the last comment, because it is important that we separate sentiment from reality. If there are persons that are a potential time bomb to a society, we should not be using paracetamol to cure them. We should bring it out, because we may be the first victim.
Yes, definitely. Definitely.
Because I've seen situations where, okay, let me just tell this story. Maybe this story will also help our teacher to explain something. The lady, she went to the court to file for divorce. She won her case. She won the custody of the children. She also got the right to stay in the home that was bought by both of them. So the man was asked to leave the house, to look for another house, but he had some days of visit. However, some months later, the lady found out that the guy is yet to get a house and he's traumatized. So the lady, out of pity, welcomed this ex-husband or divorced husband to take the balcony, the house, the what we call the boys' quarter in Nigeria. So the boys' quarter. So the guy was living in the boys' quarter, while the main building, the woman was living with the children. And one morning, he killed the woman. And that was just the way the story ended.
That's sad.
He killed the woman. So somebody was saying, why did you divorce a man and still come and give him an accommodation in your compound?
House.
Were you expecting him to be seeing you every day?
Every day. It's even worse. It's more triggering. That's more triggering for the man. That's sad.
Okay, I think some people are dropping something. Let's read.
Questions.
Emmanuel is saying, thank you so much for this talk, ma. How do you address someone who is doing something against your values and morals without making such a person to feel bad or condemned?
Okay. So I'm going to just say that I have one word: boundaries. Boundaries. So if you are asking that question, it means that you already have a clearly defined value. So but then if you're asking this question, it tells me something about you. It means that you are afraid more about what people, would think or feel, and you kind of
So while we wait for our teacher, I believe she will sort herself out. But I also want to add to the point as soon as she comes in. She was talking about boundary, and boundaries are very important. But remember, a person without value cannot define boundary. So what do we mean by boundary? We need to understand boundaries are not the same thing as malice. They're not the same thing as enmity. Boundary simply means that you are intentional about what should flow inside you, what you should allow. What you should allow has to do with you should be intentional how people treat you. You should be intentional what you want to believe and what you believe. You should be intentional about your intention, your desires, and the way you react to situations. So if you define this, it means that anybody that is not within this definition of what you consider good for yourself, such persons, if they are living opposite to that which is good for you, then you must not allow them into your life. That's one point. Second point is that assuming some persons are out of your boundary and you so much desire to see them change, become better person. Remember that the definition of better person is your own definition. You are the one defining what is better because you feel that your way of life is better than the other person. So you want the other person to become better. And that is why you are trying to educate that person to become better. But you're also trying to do it in a way that you don't want the person to feel condemned. You don't want the person to feel as if you are trying to make him or her feel belittled. How simple. If you want to do that, one is that you have to be empathetic. A lot of times people say truth is better, truth is bitter. And I tell people, the truth that is bitter is not a good truth. A truth, what is called truth is not bitter. You can only tell me that the message you take from a truth may be hard for you to accept, but truth is not bitter. Because most times people say truth is bitter. Truth actually is life-changing. Truth makes you become better. Truth makes you to become a better human being. And if you are giving people truth, if you are saying truth to people, you should not contradict that same truth by your bad attitude, especially in your manner of presentation. So right here, our teacher is here.
Thank you. Apologies, I had network challenges. So I was talking about boundaries. I was saying that there are two ways to implement boundaries. You can say it with your mouth, but you can also say your boundaries energetically. The first one is okay, but the second one is more preferable. So meaning that if you have a value of, let's say maybe one of your core values is honesty, and you have a friend that lies to you, you can say two ways to go about it. You can say, okay, I actually very, very prioritize honesty. And if you're not honest with me, I don't think this can work. That's one way of setting that boundary. The second way is energetically. When somebody lies to you, don't even be available for further interaction. That naturally just deselect and step back. I don't mean stepping back, maybe blocking, not drastically, but make sure that you are not, for instance, if it's somebody that you communicate with every day, just cut it off a little bit and step back. People know your values. It's not as if they don't know. They know you well and they know your values. So when they cross that line, they know. You don't have to tell them, but it is your response that will determine the next thing they will do. If they cross that boundary once and you still show up as if normal, in your mind, you are not happy, but you're not saying anything and you're not changing your action in any way, that thing will continue. So you have to take action, whether talking, I don't recommend that, but I recommend that energetic one. For instance, if you are a woman and one of your core values is time, being punctual, and then you go on a date with a guy, and this guy knows very well that you are really particular about your time, and the person comes late without no really good reason, without no apologies, and you don't say anything, and you still stay there, maybe it was 1 hour late and you still waited, nothing is going to change, and you're the one that will be suffering. In your mind will not be at rest, because number one, your value is not there. Number two, you're not happy that you have a friend or you have a close relative that is going against it. You are the one that would suffer, and you should never do that to yourself. You should always make sure that whatever you do, you're at peace with yourself. So a way to deal with that is that when somebody knows, they know that you value being punctual. If they are 5 minutes late, they should not meet you there in that place. They should not meet you there. People would adjust when they know, because they already know you. And you know, this person, don't talk to this person about it. She's my very close friend, but don't even go to her because she will not take this. Let people know. Let everybody know, it doesn't matter, even if it's a superior, if it's this, let people know. So I call something natural consequences. When people go against your values, let some natural consequence happen. Somebody lies to you, natural consequences, don't be available for further interaction. Don't be too available. Somebody, anything, they just go against something that doesn't go well with you, remove yourself a little bit, little by little from that equation. So you should check yourself. Check yourself that you're not a people pleaser. Check yourself that you don't put other people above you. It doesn't end well. It will not even end, because people will keep piling more and more on you until you totally break down. So always stand up for yourself. Always defend your values as much as possible. I don't know if there are other questions after that one.
Actually, there are no questions. So, but while we wait for them, I want to ask another question. Sorry, I always do a lot of questioning. Okay, let me wait for somebody that's raising hand now. I think Jennifer, you raise your hand. Go ahead.
Good afternoon, everybody. Okay,
Hello,
thank
Jennifer.
you. Okay, ma. So I actually want to ask this question. In a situation where you had somebody you actually felt like the whole world, like somebody, you said we should always tell our stories or discuss things with people so that you don't remain in a situation forever. Now, in a situation where you gave this person your all in all, like had the person listen to your issues, you complain, you nag, you do everything to this person for the person to understand the situation you're in. And at the end of the day, this person tells you you were a joke. How do you handle such situation?
You are a what? Tells you you are a what?
You are a joke. Like everything wasn't a reality. Like you're a joke to the person.
Okay. Well, that is rather unfortunate, but one thing I want to say is that in life, people would be people, and people would disappoint you, but you must never, it's part of the things we said, that is an event, and it's a difficult and a rather unfortunate event, but you must, your takeaway from that story should not be something negative. It should be something more like, okay, I don't think this person is my person. I don't think this person is somebody that should be in my my inner circle. And that clarity is a good one, because it helps you to choose better quality people. No matter what it is, even if it's something silly that you share with a friend should, even if you laugh about it, whatever, but a friend should not call you a joke or should just dismiss your pain like that. It is not right, it's not ideal. So I would just recommend that, number one, anybody that happens to should know that, okay, this is not about them, it's about that person and where that person is coming from. So some people they've not experienced so many things that you have experienced, so they might not really understand. And when I was talking earlier, I said when you want to, especially when something is very sensitive to you, if you want to discuss with somebody, you have to choose carefully. You have to choose very, very carefully. It's best to choose somebody that you can trust over time, somebody who has been in that shoes before, or because somebody that has been in that shoes before would never call that issue a joke. I don't know what the issue was, but the person wouldn't call it a joke. So it might look like a joke to other people, but when you are the one in that shoe, it's not a joke to you. So I think it's just a lesson on how to select your inner circle more carefully. Don't take it personal. People can be mean, people can be anything, but that's their business. Always focus on yourself, and don't even try to change people, or don't focus all your energy in changing people. You just focus on that thing I said about when something unexpected happens. Something unexpected happens is calling your attention to something. So this person now saying this is probably, the lesson here is probably that your friends are not really the right kind of friends. So when something painful like this happens, it's just like an indication. And instead of you to be sad and to be angry at that person, you should basically just look away and start to look for more people who are thinking in the same way that you think, people who are more emotionally mature. I hope that helps.
Thank you so much. And a little bit similar, but not exactly. Apart from this group, which is the group of my daughters, I also have other things I do with the guys. So sometimes I steal expo from the guys and I come to reveal it to the ladies so that we can be seeing the world from each other's mirror. So I want to say something. I want to say something I brought from the group of the guys. So a guy ended his relationship with a lady. And for us outsiders, everything about two of them seems to be okay. But on a further probing, the guy said he doesn't want to marry somebody that is carrying baggages. He doesn't want to marry somebody that is carrying baggages. So he will rather look for someone else than to marry a wife plus her baggage. So I don't really know. What message can we learn from, assuming all of us in this group now, we are females, none of us is a guy, including me now. So what kind of message can this teach us? Sorry.
When you say baggage, can you clarify what does the baggage?
He wasn't
ready.
The baggage?
He
wasn't ready to clarify. But my brain tells me two ways. Either a guy looking for an excuse to just end whatever he wants to end. That's one way. But on a positive note, my brain tells me that perhaps the lady celebrates too much of negativity. And this guy does not want to marry a woman full of drama. So he felt, okay, since I am not yet married to her, let me escape than marrying her and looking for divorce.
Yeah, okay. Well, I don't know. I have 3 sons. I would say that guy is a smart guy. Nobody should willingly carry somebody else's baggage. And that is why we are here now. We are here to discuss how we can deal with our own baggages ourselves and become whole and become aligned and become well. When we want to go into any relationship, that other person too should be doing the same work so that both of us, we are well, we are dealing with our stuff, and then we can come together and move forward. And whatever baggage comes as a couple, we can also have space to deal with that. So I don't think it's a bad thing. Everybody has a right to go forward with whatever it is that they want to go forward with. As a woman too, I'm sure that women too have their own thing that if a man does this, I don't want. If he does this, I don't want. So everybody has a right to have their lists and go for whatever it is that they want. And if that thing is not there, they can say they are not doing. That's fine. But like I said earlier, the main thing is that all our baggage, whatever, if it's physical, if it's emotional, if it's mental, it belongs to us. It does not belong to somebody else. So whatever it is that a woman is struggling with, it is our duty to sort it out. If that guy is giving that excuse, it would mean that that woman may not be showing signs of working on it. And is thinking that this can be a problem in the future, and is correct. Anybody who is not working on themselves, if you go and get attached to them, you're going to be in trouble. So that is not a bad thing. And I like how you brought it here, so that women here can also listen and know that, okay, this is how some men make decisions, so that when a man sees you, they know whether you are working on yourself, whether you are developing yourself, whether you are improving. They can see it. Because growth is not something you can hide. Wellness, like I said, is not something you can hide. If you are working to be more in charge of your emotional and mental work, it shows. Especially in a woman, because a woman is, especially if you are working on yourself, you are a nurturer, meaning that if you are standing well, any man that comes, you would be the help that you'll be giving that man, especially mentally, the peace you'll be bringing that man would, in fact, he will recognize it, and you will be a big asset. But if that is missing, a man can also see it in you, that, okay, it looks as if this person will take more from me, and I'm not even going to get any of our feminine powers. Because that is why, men need women, because that power of a woman is there. You transform things. A bachelor brings you inside to his home. You turn the whole place, into a place that is cozy, a place that is nice to live. And that gives that man that, bandwidth to be able to face his work and progress and, come back and provide for you and provide for the family. But if that is not there, the man recognizes that this is going to be a very, very challenging future, and I don't want it. So that's fine.
Wow. Let me read. Some people are dropping questions. Let me read your questions.
Okay.
Somebody said, okay, let's go. Christy. Okay, Christy says, thank you very much. One question, please. I am in a situation you share your pain. Okay, in a situation where you share your pain and challenges you are passing through, and they advise you actually, but it turned out to get to the ears of others, which normally that should be an infringing. What am I doing? Which normally that should be infringing on your privacy. How do you handle the feeling and the person?
Okay, I think this is very similar to that person, that question that I think somebody asked earlier about how you share something with somebody and the person calls it a joke. It's just an indication. Like I said, number one, I acknowledge the fact that that is really sad and it is difficult. And it is a breach of trust. It is a difficult time. Remember what we've been saying earlier. Find some time to allow that emotion to be in you and to flow through you and to pass. Don't allow it to get stuck, because it's going to, if you allow it to get stuck, it will affect you as you're moving on. So deal with that. It's a betrayal. But then after you have dealt with that, you know what I said earlier about how all these things that are not part of the plan, they are trying to call your attention to something. And like I said earlier to that other person too, this is telling you that the people that you have around you might not be the best kind of people for you. The people you are confiding in, they might not be equipped to handle, they don't have that maturity to handle it. So instead of you, like I said again, don't get angry, don't hold bitterness. You don't need it. Tell yourself you don't have space for that kind of negativity. But this is telling you something, and that is, this person is not somebody I should have in my immediate circle. Your energy, hold your energy very sacred. Don't just allow maybe just people around you. You have to choose wisely your friends. Choose your friends wisely. Choose your mentors wisely. So it just means that this person is not right for you, and you have to just let it go. Deal with the emotion. Don't let it turn to anger or bitterness. If it does, it can actually even affect your future relationship, because you're thinking, I can't trust anybody. You know, I think I used that example earlier where you're saying, okay, I can't, and then everywhere you look, you'll be seeing untrustworthy people. So you have to deal with that, let it go, and then tell yourself that, okay, lesson learned. I have now gotten the memo, because it's just life trying to, it's God trying to tell you that, okay, change these people in your life. Go and look for better caliber of people who you can talk to, and they will take your secrets to the grave. There are good people in the world. So you just need to look for them, and you yourself be good to other people. So, you know, you like attract like, be good to other people. When people tell you things too, you keep it. You know how you guard other people's secrets and people's word. When you are doing that, you find people who will do for you too. So don't be negative about it. There's always a lesson. Just learn that lesson and move.
Then another last question from Grace. She's asking a similar question, but her own is twisted. She said, yes, we can keep people away from our circle, but how do we keep people who cannot be kept away? She made example. Grace talks about like colleagues in the office, family members like your father, your mother, people who cannot be away from you. How do we keep them away from our own mental well-being?
Okay. All right, that's a really is a really interesting question, and it's very important, because sometimes it's the closest people, we all know, it's the closest people to you that give you the most headache. That's why, you know, when I was talking about boundaries, I said there are two different kinds of boundaries. There's energetic and there's the physical one. So when it comes to people who you can't go away with, it's not mouth like you used to set that boundary, it's in your energy. If you have a colleague that is, you know, is not really your kind, go to work, do your work, and go home. Good morning, good afternoon. I need these documents. Can you please email this to me? And go home. You know, that work one is simple. Maybe the family one is more challenging. But even at that, even if it's your wife or your husband, there's a way you can always limit that interaction. And energetically, that person knows that, okay, for instance, maybe some people don't like to share their food, eat with other people maybe in a family. You know that this person, if you put hand inside their food, they will not want to eat it again. People already know. Your family, your friends, they already know you, and all these things, values that you have, they know. But when they cross that line, how do you act? Do you act as if it's okay? Or do you let some natural consequences happen? I mentioned this earlier too, that let natural consequences happen. If somebody says, I'll be here, maybe I'll use that time example. Somebody, even if your mom, anybody, they said this, and you've agreed on something and it didn't go according to plan, there's a way you can just energetically shift back. Maybe it's that you talk less. Maybe is that you would spend more time in your own corner of the house. There's always a way. What you just must do is that you must make sure that when those boundaries are crossed, you act accordingly. You don't still act normal, because if you act normal, you allow it to continue. So you have to find a way, depending on the situation. Now, different situations would require different reactions. So depending on that situation, you would decide on how you want to withdraw a little bit. And over, as you do it, for instance, if you have a friend that likes to talk, and then they cross your boundary, and then you don't talk to them for a while, and they really like you to talk to them, they would adjust. And then when you see that they've made that effort to adjust, you start to talk to them back. Is an interaction, but you must make sure that you do something. You allow something, a natural consequence to occur when your family members, when they cross that boundary. You try as much as possible. So that protects you in a way. It protects you too, because in your mind is at peace, because like, this person did this to me, and then I'm doing this. Even if that thing that you're doing is just a tiny action, it doesn't matter if anybody notices, but you notice, and then you'll be at peace that, okay, if they do this, I'm just going to do this. And that would help you be at peace. And sometimes that's all you need.
Okay. Presido, I hand over to you.
Okay, thank you so much, ma'am. We are really grateful for having you and you speaking to us about how to balance our mental health. We are grateful to you, and we've learned so much, and we pray that you'll be strengthened for all you've shared with us today. And to my sisters, thank you so much for joining, and to our guests, thank you also for joining us today. Basically, we hold our seminars every month. So when we are going to hold the next one, we'll also put it out there to you. We actually talk on different topics, ranging in career, jobs, businesses, whatever it may be that enables people's growth in the forum. So that is what we do. And we have come actually to the end of today's section. And I will say it's time for us to close now. Papa, do you have anything to add or to say?
Me?
Yes.
Okay, I just want to thank our speaker, Dr. Ronke Lawal. It's my pleasure having you here, and I'm happy that today we recorded a very impressive turnout. I took my time to write all the names that were popping up, and my register here is showing 30 persons in attendance for a forum that has 41 members, and we have 30. Means over 90% were present, and that is very impressive, actually. So, Dr. Ronke, we are grateful for your coming, and to further give you a background of this group. I know that one of the person that helped us that linked us with you must have told you about the group. Actually, this group is just a group of ladies and women, because a lot of them, close to 20 of them, have moved into mothers and the rest of them. So it's a group, and with the sole aim of empowering women, just like you said, the feminine strength is unique. A woman is a multiplier. A woman is a force to reckon with. So this group was formed with that mindset, and this group believes that if women are forces that can be used, then they should be positive forces. And for them to be positive forces, we believe in career development. We believe in educational advancement. That is why in this group, we have people who are not stopping even up to PhD level. You know, we have, by the grace of God, we have people in this group represented from various countries. I see somebody from Canada. Okay, I've seen two from Canada in this forum right now, in this meeting. Two from Canada, Russia, different countries of the world. So that tells you the makeup of the kind of group. And we are so happy that you honor our invitation. And we are Oliver Twist. Maybe after taking care of our mental health, we invite you to come and check whether the health is now okay. So we may face another event tomorrow again. I say, please, ask this woman to come and check our mental health and check whether we have taken to what she taught us last time. So when we invite you again, please, ma, don't be tired of honoring our invitation, and we'll be so happy to have you in our midst. So once again, on behalf of the PCDF, I want to thank you for honoring our invitation, and I want to thank all my daughters for being present. And I hope that when we have the April seminar, you will also make time to be with us. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure. Thank you. And thank you, sir, for the good job for bringing everybody together. It's a wonderful, wonderful idea. And more people should do this thing you're doing. Thank you.
All right, thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone. Papa, okay, we can. Someone is saying we should add her to the group, Sandra. Okay, I think we'll. Papa, I don't know.
Yeah, you chat with her off the program.
Okay.
Chat with
all
her
right.
program, so you people can exchange contacts and chat with her on the program.
Okay, thank you, everyone. Thank you very much, everyone. So we can go now. Do have a blessed day and enjoy your weekend.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Okay, Sandra, I sent you my contacts. You can chat me up.
You people should check for me. That's speak Russia for me, people.
Clark dealer.
Oh, that's a... Papa, I speak Korea for me.
안녕하세요, Jennifer. 안녕하세요.
Okay, sisters. This one we're still here. Any gist?
Who is I can see a new name that just coming at the end of the program. Somebody.
I am Boye Samuel.
I am Boye Samuel.
Labeke too also.
No, Labake, not Labeke. Don't spell her name.
Sorry.
Labake. We should let you know.
Oh, sorry.
That's Labake.
Sorry.
Even though it's a short name, it may be something, but she just short it. The person is shorting the name to Labake. That's okay.
Okay.
Yeah, well done. What's my mental health is nice.
Labake and Samuel, we thank you for coming, and the program is over. We want to continue with other off-camera meetings. So permit me, don't feel bad for me. I may have to remove you if you don't mind. Sorry.
Okay, Papa, can we stop the recording, please?
Okay, I will do that now.